That was super awkward. Hello and welcome to Santa Barbara Wargaming's media presence while we wait for our head of media
services.
Sure. Head of servicing. To get a better computer that's not.
I'm working on it. I'm trying. I'm doing
Macintosh from 8 years ago.
Anyways, I'm trying my best, but until then,
yeah. Camera people are meant to be using the camera, not seeing or heard.
Yes,
anyway,
there we go.
So I got my Arcanists in today. I picked up, last year I picked up Lucius's crew for Guild at Gen Con, and I got some Executioners and some Guild Riflemen, and I picked up a Doppelganger just cuz, and some Waldgeists and Teddy and some Terror Tots. Anyway, so that was last year Gen Con, and then this year Gen Con I picked up Karis and Kalodi and some Oxfordian Mages and the Widow Weaver. And yeah, so I've been playing around with Arcanists a lot because I really like Karis, so I decided to just buy the rest of the faction except for Marcus and Colette, who I'll probably be getting Colette later, but we already have someone in our group who has Marcus, so I'm not too concerned. And I've expanded a couple other things. So I just finished building the Ramos crew. So let's talk about that. So the Ramos crew is actually cool. This is the Ramos crew plus an extra box of Arachnid Swarm. I decided to build 3 Arachnid Swarms and 5 Arachnids, just so I would have a little bit more options. I also have a metal Ramos crew that I'm going to have access to use, so that'll be fun as well. For more Arachnid joy.
Where'd the bases come from?
The bases came, of course, from Secret Weapon Miniatures. Big shout out to them. I don't base my own models anymore. I just buy their bases because, like, why wouldn't you? I've got 8,000 points of Horus Heresy, 30k Imperial Fists, all on Secret Weapon bases. Like,
yeah,
because why would you not?
I only use Secret
Weapon.
Weapon
Except for I will say one thing. He needs to get his shit together a little bit with the Titan bases because he still hasn't come out with Ruined Temple Titan bases, or he hadn't when I was building my Knight Paladins. So I have 3 of those, and they're on this Greek guy's bases. You can find them on eBay. Just search Knight Titan. Oh god, Knight Titan base on eBay.
I'm not editing that out.
No, please, God, don't.
But Secret Weapon bases, Secret Weapon Miniatures. The last time that we did like a group order of them. I said if they wanted to give us any extras.
Oh yeah, we got shot glasses.
We got shot glasses.
That was freaking baller.
That was awesome.
I like I said again, I love Secret Weapon bases. They make the best looking bases in the market. They have the widest selection. They're impossible to find sometimes because they're so popular because they're so good.
And I'll do my best to put an annotation right, bing. There.
It says
right there that says Secret Weapon,
or whatever.
Yeah, and links to it. So
and you can find them on all the popular sites. Discount Games Inc., Miniature Market, and War Store all have them in stock. Noble Net Games has them in stock. eBay has them in stock. So if you want them, you can find them. So anyway, back to enough pitching. Back to Ramos. So Ramos himself was actually a really easy model to build. Really cool model. I love the sculpt. Very characterful. Joss, again, not too hard to build. I actually prefer the concept of the first edition Joss better. He was less techno punk and more like Native American with electro axes, which I really liked.
That was cool.
But this model's not bad. He's definitely cool looking. Just less. He's more Arnold Schwarzenegger vibe mixed with like Mad Max.
Which isn't bad.
It's not bad at all. It fits in with the rest of the theme of the crew and fits in with the new aesthetic. Then we have Howard Langston. Yeah, Howard Langston. This model wasn't terrible to build except for his Dr. Octopus claws and his spider leg placements. But you want me to pick them up really quick just so you can do a little... Let's see. So we'll do the legs first because that was the most annoying part. As built, his legs do not fit on a 50 mil base. You can get maybe 2 on there. So I had to do some serious like bending and some snipping and tweaking and chiseling to get the legs to all fit. Additionally, the little data cable on his back didn't quite line up properly, even with clipping off some of the input bits that are supposed to plug into his back. It still didn't quite line up, so I kind of just had to wing it. And then lastly, the octopus claws. So I don't know why, but Wyrd does this thing where they want to have like plugs for their components, but instead of labeling the components with numbers, like, you know, any company that makes models would do.
I think GW is the only one that actually does it.
Yeah, probably. But any company that makes models should do. They instead use, like, they have like the cover of the thing, so like you can look at actually the arachnids are the best thing to look. So the legs have these little like discs that the legs pop out of. And behind that is like a peg, and that peg is shaped like a circle or like a half circle or like a square or an octagon or whatever. And that's how you tell which ones go where. The problem is that all of the little holes look exactly the same or barely different, to the point where it's almost impossible for you to identify which leg, which piece plugs into where. And due to the lack of instructions in the box and the requirement to go online to find the instructions for the kit, and then those instructions not even being that clear, you are left with some frustration.
Still better than Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, well, anyway. So the Dr. Octopus tentacles on Howard were a pain. I ended up just clipping the plug off and just gluing it to the outside around the hole, because it just wasn't fitting. It just wasn't fitting. And it was the right leg. It was the right octopus leg for the right hole. Then next we have the brass arachnid. This model suffered the exact same problems as Howard did. The legs, I got them to kind of fit the ones that, like, where they belong. But again, his legs were so sprawled out that there was no way he's supposed to fit on a 30 mil base. But it says 30 millimeter on the card, so that's what he goes on. So this leg pisses me off to no end because it's all warped and bent and looks like he broke it, because I had to bend it that way to get it glued to the base, so we'd have 3 points of contact so that he wouldn't just break off the base. But other than that, the model looks cool. He looks way better than the old brass arachnid. I just wish that if they were going to make totems be this big, then please just put them on 40 mil bases, or just take the model in CAD and shrink it by 25%. And make the same fucking thing.
We've had this problem in our group with the
all the
Von Shield Steam Trunk and with
Shen?
Shang or
Shang,
whatever,
the Ninetails.
Ninetail. I mean, it's...
the only one that I haven't had this problem with is the actually, this is a very, very good little point. The only one I haven't had this problem with is the Eternal Flame. And I realized when I was saying that, it's because he comes on a 40 mil.
Yes. So most of the totems, they're like that size, but they're supposed to be on a 30 mil. That's on a 40 mil.
And that's what it says on his card. So I don't know. The only thing I can assume is that the old brass arachnid was on a 30 mil and they didn't want to change it from first edition to second edition, cause people to rebase it. Whatever. And then lastly, we have the spider swarms. So when you're designing a model, and they all pretty much look the same, except the legs might be like in a different position, you wouldn't ever think to make components glue in differently when they're identical. However, whoever designed the actual like injection molds for these arachnid swarms / steam arachnids decided, you know what? Every smokestack, which is identical on every single one of these things, should either have an input plug going this way or this way. And we're not going to tell you where each one goes in which body, because the bodies are literally impossible to tell apart. So if you're building this, you're going to have to not only clip the things out, trim them, clean them, you're going to have to put them in little piles and dry fit each piece to make sure it works. I ended up clipping all the plugs off half these guys and just gluing it on the side because it was fucking impossible. Just like literally impossible the way they intended. So instead, we have guys, they look fine. Honestly, if you're going to be building these at all, or you're looking at building them in the near future, just clip the plugs off the legs and off of the little smokestack and just glue it on the outside. Use a glue like Loctite. This is the best super glue you can use for miniatures. It bonds everything perfectly all the time and dries really quickly. So just do that, or use plastic glue or something. Don't even try with the plugs, because it's just not going to happen at all. Anyway, so that's it for Ramos. I still have the rest of this stuff to build, obviously. I give the kit, like, man, this is a tough one. I've never actually ranked anything.
Well, we're not going to use Skaven anuses.
No, I'm going to do, like, it's like...
let's do a Likert scale 1 to 10.
Yeah, I'd say I give it, overall, I give it an 8.
Oh, okay.
I'd say just because the models look really fucking cool. Technically, I'd give it a 6, maybe a 5. Just because the models aren't that complicated, but they made them more complicated. It's a very War Machine-esque move, where the models are super simple models that don't need to be as complex as they are to build, but they did anyway, probably just for the sake of, like, building a complex model. It's sort of like buying a super nice Lego kit that's super complex, even though really you're just sticking 20 blocks together to make a larger square. So yeah, I'd say in the range from 6 to 8. It's a good kit. If you play Arcanists, they're a wonderful tanky crew. They function really well with everything else in Karis's box. They function well with pretty much everything outside of Marcus, and you know, Marcus's stuff is still usable. So I definitely, if you're leaning Karis, Colette area, maybe Ironsides, I would definitely consider picking Ramos up for yourself, or at least play testing with them.
Who are you planning on building next?
Next is going to have to be the Ironsides, the Troubleshooters crew.
Crazy Eyes?
I already have Oxfordian Mages, so I'm selling our other Arcanist player, the Oxfordian Mages, from this box. So I really only have to build 3 models, which, cool. And also, I mean, they're really cool looking. I want to try the Captain out with Karis. I think he'll be really fun. And I don't have the bases for Children of December yet. So, pretty much answers my questions about which one I'm going to build next. So anyway, until next time, we're going to be doing the Nethera campaign here at Santa Barbara Wargaming. We're all really excited about it. That's why I decided to pull the trigger on all these Arcanists, because I'm playing Arcanists. I'm Daklethan on the Wyrd forums. And Mark.
And I'm going to be getting, well, I already have Von Shield. I'm Outcast, Ironmonger, everywhere on the internet. I already have Von Shield, so hired guns. I have Vicky's, hired swords. I'm picking up Leviticus, the salvage and logistics. I'm going to try to get a hold of Guilty as Charged, because I already have some of the models, some of the Nightmare Edition, and I'm going to be picking up the University of Transmortis, so I can get that Valedictorian and the Iron Zombies. So I'm all in for Outcasts as Ironmonger, and Christian is all in for
Arcanists as Daklethan. So it'll be really cool. I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't participated in a worldwide campaign since the Storm of Chaos back in, what, 2003?
Yeah.
And that left a terrible taste in my mouth, to the point where I haven't participated in a global
like an abused housewife.
Right, yeah. So I'm really looking forward to this. I've seen everything that Wyrd's done so far. They're a wonderful company for listening to their customers. I'm actually going to email them later this night about the Ramos kit and what it needs to be improved upon when it comes to actually building the models. I think a lot of people, this is kind of a side tangent, but a lot of people have made sacrifices when it comes to building models for games that are really good. They excuse the poor quality of the build or the poor utility of the process of designing the models because the game's so much fun. War Machine literally exists upon that concept, where the game is really fun, really tight rules. The models are the worst fucking models that you can buy right now. Like, literally the only thing worse than War Machine Hordes models in execution, style, and artistry, I think, are Mark I Malifaux models on the market currently. That being said, there are other companies that have made much worse models. You know, this is me complaining like, oh, my teeth, my grill in my mouth is only silver instead of gold, you know. Yeah. But at the end of the day, some of the models are technically poorly done, and they could be done so much better with just a little bit of patience and skill and knowledge of how people build models. So anyway, that's it for us here at Santa Barbara Wargaming. May you roll poorly.